As occupational therapists, part of our role is to come up with creative ways to collaborate with our clients and enable participation in meaningful activities. Sourcing and designing assistive technology is one way that we can do this. It is common to work directly with clients. Currently, we've been asked to work with a new client, Mr. J, to come up with a custom garden scooter to perform yard maintenance and gardening. But before the design phase, we need to get to know our client better and understand some of the challenges he faces. So let's meet Mr. J.
Mr. J lives in a bungalow with his wife. They have a large front and back garden that require regular maintenance and upkeep. Yard maintenance is one of his main roles around the house. Mr. J is a wheelchair user living with Becker's muscular dystrophy that mainly impacts the use of his lower extremities and left arm. He has told us that he has experienced many challenges in performing his yard work, for example weeding, lawn edging, and just overall access to the garden beds due to the height constraints of his wheelchair. Currently, he transfers to the ground from his wheelchair in order to access the garden beds. He moves himself around the yard through the use of his hands, and this has caused a great demand on his energy levels, as well as pain in his hands and shoulders. How do we as occupational therapists work together with Mr. J to create an assistive device to enable his participation in this meaningful activity, while also maintaining energy levels with a focus on accessibility and safety?
Mr. J values his independence and does not want to hire a landscaper to do the work. Maintaining his yard is a valued occupation that gives him a sense of identity and also allows him to feel like a part of a bigger community effort. He is motivated by his neighbors who actively support each other and come together through communal efforts and shared appreciation for manicured yards. Currently, there are a variety of garden scooters that allow users to gain access to garden beds and move around their yards. However, in talking with Mr. J, he has expressed that he has not found one that has addressed all of his wants and needs around function, safety, and overall aesthetics. On the market, there are both three-wheeled and four-wheeled versions of garden scooters.
Mr. J feels that four-wheeled scooters do not maneuver easily, and that the three-wheeled scooters lack inflatable tires necessary to navigate the terrain of his yard. They also lack backrests, and neither are the correct height for his needs. Aesthetically, he feels they look childish, similar to a tricycle, and wants something that appears more functional, reflecting the dedicated and practical parts of his personality.
Based on Mr. J's wishes, we've created a three-wheeled scooter with pneumatic tires attached to a solid wooden base and detachable seating featuring a backrest. The backrest is important because it helps him to propel and offers support for him to rest against between tasks. 3 pneumatic tires with the caster in the front give the tight turning radius of the three-wheeled scooter and the ability to manage uneven terrain of the four-wheeled scooter. The seat attaches to the base with heavy-duty Velcro and is made of fabric that reduces slipping while propelling, even while wet. The backrest can also be adjusted using cinches. The seat is low enough to the ground for easy access, but high enough for him to transfer confidently from his wheelchair. The length of the scooter is short enough to avoid obstruction while bending over and performing tasks. Propelling is performed by pushing his legs using his arms.
Three-wheeled scooters can be unstable. To combat this issue, we've added an anti-tipping feature inspired by a kickstand, commonly used to keep bicycles upright when not in use. This feature will provide stability during transfers and while working in a desired location. This feature is simple to engage and can be done with one hand. The design also appears more industrial, and less like a child's tricycle or a children's bicycle, which was an important factor for Mr. J.
Our primary collaborator on this project was Mr. J. His description of the barriers he was facing, coupled with an activity analysis, informed our design. The rest of the team will include a physical therapist who will provide information concerning body mechanics and recommend ways to make movements more efficient, especially with transferring and propelling. A metal fabricator will help with the anti-tipper design. They are specialists in making custom pieces out of metal. They will also be able to help us decide on appropriate materials and hardware needed to support the weight and force of the client and how to attach it. Occupational therapists will address the seating and positioning, advise on fabric, as moisture and skin integrity will be important. There will be a need to wash the fabric, which needs to be removable.
We'll use the Quebec User Evaluation of Assistive Technology, or QUEST, to evaluate the scooter. QUEST looks at dimensions, ease of use, weight, durability, comfort, or safety, among other items. It also evaluates the service they received in use of the device. The items are ranked on a 5-point scale and asks which of the 3 are most important to them. QUEST tells us where changes need to occur so that the device and service delivery can have as much impact on his needs as possible. We'll work with Mr. J to educate him on the use, function, and maintenance of the device. If everything feels okay to him, we'll set up a return visit to ensure that the scooter fits the task. Our idea has been validated by somebody living with Becker's muscular dystrophy, as well as faculty from UBC's occupational therapy program.